Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where we are going to be covering the changes, and I am so excited for the new changes with Swain. I think he is overall, this is great because it's going to get more eyes on the champion. He's going to feel fresh. He's going to feel new, particularly with the different ult changes. I think that this is really moving in the right direction. I myself am personally going to be playing a crap ton more Swain, so let's see how this goes. Now, Swain can no longer pull crowd controlled enemies, which kind of sucks because it was nice to have something like a Jhin or a Draven where you can proc your passive off of their CC and then get a guaranteed E land on them and then just continuing the fight in that way. But we will adjust to that. Your pull no longer deals damage. Now, whenever you take things away from players like this, just flat out, okay, no more damage, no more pulling off allies. It does kind of suck, but I think that the direction that we're moving forward here is really, really strong. The healing coming out of the passive is going to be overall increased up to a maximum of 9% maximum health, which can be really, really strong, particularly if we start going into some of these more tankier builds and very HP heavy builds, and then compounding them with maybe something like the Overgrowth Rune that gives you even more percentage HP. I feel like the tank Swain builds that I've covered on my channel a couple times are going to be a little bit stronger with this build because they aren't gated by that very small time of when you have your ultimate up. If you're against very, very tanky teams, and you have a continuous ult that doesn't have an ability to, it isn't gated by time. As long as you have your R on champions, it's going to be very, very strong. Overall, the Death Hands Q changes are just so needed. It is so nice to see these changes because of your ability to push out lanes is really, really gated by the mana cost of your Q. There was a point where I was going tier, I was going a Leandries, and I was going a Mana Flow Band and Presence of Mind. So that's 4 things I was taking, particularly just for mana, because of how annoying it was to spam out this extremely the wave clear just wasn't worth how much mana you were spending. It just felt really, really bad unless you were super heavily teched into mana. Overall, the cooldown is really, really nice. You're starting to see a difference, probably the biggest at the 3rd level of the cooldown, where it's getting a 1 second cooldown, which is really, really big. That's going to be probably the biggest difference that you're going to see in these changes. Overall, the damage, I think, is getting an increase. Yeah, we're getting a little bit more base damage. Additional bolt damage is going to be really, really nice. We're getting an extra 10% on that, an extra 52 per bolt maximum damage. Overall, the Q changes are just so great. I think this is perfect. They really landed what Swain was feeling bad about Swain's Q and what's going to start being nice, because right now in Swain's current state, there's a lot of melee champions that don't even care if they just jump on top of Swain, and that kind of feels bad because essentially you have a shotgun for a Q, and people, it should have some threat on people, and giving it more damage is going to really help against a lot of those assassins that just like jumping on top of the Swain and just really not caring if he does not have his ult up. So with Visions of the Empire changes, just giving a little bit of a mana reduction is nice. Overall, his kit did seem super mana heavy for having no relief and no mana restore inside of its kit. So quality of life changes here. Pings now display enemies in range similar to Twisted A. So if you just hit Alt and then you hit the W button, it's just going to show, it's just going to ping what enemies are in the range of your W, so your teammates can know, hey, I can assist you with the W there, which is okay, but I mean, obviously solo queue is not really going to help too much. So Nevermore E can now be reactivated to pull all enemy champions. So what this is going to do is it's going to really up your overall carry potential in team fights, particularly in Wombo combat. Kitty, no, get out of there. He's chewing a cord. Get out. God. He's just literally just chewing on a cord like a little rat. Okay, so yeah, with the E being able to pull all the champions landed on Nevermore, it's going to be even more important to land your E's, as well as the cooldown being reduced by 20% in your R is absolutely amazing. Your R is going to just feel so much stronger, and it is going to be so strong in being able to do that. So the first thing with the cooldown being changed on Demonic Ascension is nice because you're no longer gated and forced into that domination secondary tree of getting Ultimate Hunter. Being able to have a 60-second cooldown, level 16, with a little bit of extra CDR, you're always going to have that up. in every single scrimmage. So I'm just really impressed with how they've approached the R changes. The drain damage per second is a little bit, the base damage is up, the AP ratios are down. However, I think these are going to be more tanky builds, more HP heavy builds that we're going to start running. So base damage is always more important than the AP ratios. The drain heal per second is going to be going up, which is really nice. An extra 20 drain per second heal. And then I think the third is when it is a fully charged with demon power. I'm not 100% sure what these third numbers are, but I'm just really happy that the just base numbers of the heals are going up. It no longer granting bonus health at level 6, getting that extra 125 health was a huge way of baiting people in the early game. But essentially, I think that you are going to be just a lot stronger overall moving into the mid and late game. And then upon casting Demonic Ascension, gain 50 demonic power. Demonic Ascension lasts as long as Swain has demon power, which grants us a rate of 10 per second. While draining an enemy champion, Swain gains 20 demon power per second. After 3 seconds, he can cast the Demon Flare R2. So this is no longer going to be gated, which is really big, by the amount you drain and the damage. It's just going to be doing the same amount of damage at every point, which is really nice. And this is going to provide you with really strong, nice burst combos that you can pull off very easily. Now, your Demonic Ascension does not end when you use Demon Flare, which is just, this is a huge quality of life buff. This is just big overall. I think that this is going to be a great change because you're no longer forced into a decision early in a team fight where you can burst out a squishy, but then your ult ends and you don't have the consistent damage to take down the bruisers and tanks, or maybe a support Leona that you would otherwise have if you did not use that. So these R changes are absolutely massive, and I think it is definitely worth the cost of losing your damage on your pull, as well as not being able to pull CC'd from your allies in the overall point. And also, you're not going to be able to CC, you're not going to be able to passive people out of the blast guns, which sucks because that was kind of a fun mechanic that not too many people knew about, but it is what it is. I think that is all. We covered everything. No longer, the slow is absolutely massive, giving more utility to Swain. And he has a root coming out of his E, a passive pull that's a displacement, and a W slow, giving him another slow on top of that, particularly a 60% slow, which is huge. And people trying to run away and being able to use your Demon Flare at any time, and it doesn't need a ramp up time of drain, and it doesn't end your ultimate. Just giving Swain a 60% on use guaranteed slow on enemy targets is just absolutely massive. I'm just loving this new kit and the direction they're going. So yeah, I'm super optimistic. I think this is going to be great, even if it comes out a little bit weak, which I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be adjusted. There's going to be more eyes on the champion, and the balance is definitely going to be a big topic of discussion. So he won't go another year or two without any changes. That's going to wrap up my video, guys. If you have any questions for me, you can hit me up in the comments down below. As always, take it easy.